You're watching America Trends. I'm Mary Burt-Godwin, and we are chatting with Shep Hyken, customer service and customer experience expert. Shep, before the break, we were talking about personalizing your business to kind of reach out to individuals. And I also now want to talk about how to handle when you have a customer who might be angry, like let's say this guy that tweeted. What are some of the best things that you can say when you have an angry customer?
Well, there's a number of things you can say, but what your goal is not to win the argument, it's to win the customer. And I always believe you must acknowledge that there's a problem, apologize for the problem, and as we mentioned, even if it's not your fault, and discuss what the resolution is going to be. And in the case of the United Airlines baseball player incident, we're going to get back to you with that information, or we're back to you after we check on things. That's part of the resolution. And it isn't like they said it's not our fault. I want people to act as if they own the situation, and they need to act urgently. You asked specifically, though, about what you can say. And the first thing that you ought to do as you acknowledge that there's a problem, say you're sorry. I mean, immediately, we talked about this before. It's like, okay, we get it. You have a problem. We're sorry that happened. By the way, I made a list of a few things because I knew from the topics that you said you might cover today. I can understand why you're upset. I would feel that way as well. That's an acknowledgement statement. Again, it's trying to connect you with them so they feel like you're on the same page. I'm glad you called. My name is Shep. And that shows that I'm going to take a little bit of ownership. And it also puts a human name and face behind the problem. Even though you're talking to a large company or a small company, there's somebody individually you're talking to. We need to do something about this right away, creates that sense of urgency. And let's work together to make this work for all of us. Sometimes that's very appropriate, especially when we might be looking outside of the box to create a solution that's going to make you happy.
I love all of those tips. I mean, it's almost like ways I have to parent also, or deal with any sort of interpersonal relationship. It is letting the other person know that they're heard and apologizing for their experience, that you have an uncomfortable experience, whatever it may be, and we are urgently working on it. It is a priority to us, or me, or whoever it is. And I love your comment about adding a name to it, because I know when I worked for an agency and we did a lot of responding on behalf of other clients, a lot of hotels. So it was a big company we were applying as, but we would add our name to personalize it to let the other person know. Obviously, it's not, let's say Bill Marriott responding to the tweet. It is a individual. Put your name there and let the other person know, because it does feel so cold, right, when it's just a direct message or something. But to add your name adds another layer to it.
Yeah, it makes somebody feel like, especially if that person says, hey, by the way, my name's Shep Hyken. You know what our number is. You called us, but here's my direct extension. If you have a problem, if we, for whatever reason, get disconnected, or later on you have a problem, now you think, hey, I've got someone on the inside that's going to take care of me. And that's a really cool connection. Remember, as I mentioned, it's not just about, taking care of a problem. You're trying to win that customer back over, and you're actually trying to create or renew the confidence they had to do business with you in the first place. And if you do things right, your customers will have a higher level of confidence because you resolve the problem in such a way that makes them feel like I can count on them. By the way, that doesn't mean you should always create problems just to prove the point. But if there ever is a problem, that's what you do. Your goal is to restore confidence.
And on the same note, I want to ask your opinion on this. One thing that we were always told when I was replying to angry customers, let's say, was to take it to a direct message. It would be probably instigated with a tweet telling all their followers this crazy thing happened. They would tag the property or whatever it might be. But then we were directed to take it to direct message. So we're not haggling in the public sphere. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, as I mentioned before, your goal is to move it offline to resolve the issue. And once it's resolved, you go back on and thank that customer. And ideally, they come back and thank you again. We never saw what United Airlines sent to the baseball player, but the baseball player the next day came back to try to get United out of the spotlight. See, oftentimes, customers try to reach out to a company on traditional channels like a phone or maybe an email message, and maybe they'll even direct message you on a social channel. But when the company doesn't respond, what they do if they're frustrated is they go truly social with it, and they don't just post it to the direct message side of that channel, be it Facebook, Twitter, or whatever. They actually go, I refer to as they're seeking revenge at this point.
Yeah, right.
They want to get noticed, and they want to show that this company isn't doing what they're supposed to be doing. Oftentimes that's the case. Now, we're starting to see younger generations are going straight to social media because that just becomes a channel that the company says that they will respond to.
Yeah. I want to follow up actually with my hotel experience over the weekend that I left the review, and within 24 hours, probably within 12 hours, the hotel, someone had commented back to thank me for my review.
Yes.
And so glad that I had a good experience, which just full circle made it a wonderful experience for me. So I just want to say that that's important too, is to reply to the reviews, right?
The ideal situation is that you would apply or reply to every interaction that is happening on social media. That's why they call it social media. It's not one-way media. It's not monologue media. It's
monologue
social.
Media.
So let's have a conversation, even if it's something as simple. Now, here's the thing. If every time somebody leaves a positive comment, and there could be hundreds, if not thousands, and you use the same thank you, thank you, thank you, that's a little ingenuous.
Yes.
However, something to make it a little personal, let's do it. And there are people that are hired by companies, and you mentioned Marriott. I'm not sure Marriott has one, but large companies that have lots of comments, they have somebody that does nothing but manage the positive side of the reviews or comments, so that each of these people who do make a comment feel like they're being heard and acknowledged. And also realize, my friend Jay Bear refers to anything that goes on social media, it becomes a spectator sport. Everybody gets to see it.
Yeah.
If it's a problem, they get to watch the argument.
Right.
And sometimes it ends up, as I kind of mentioned before, as a PR nightmare if it's not managed properly.
Right, and nobody cares about the positive reviews, but I do love to have that little, yes, thank you for your review. And, tying it into something specific about my stay was another way to personalize the comment back to me. Before I let you go, I want to talk quickly about return policies and why, it's really important to have an easy return policy. Obviously, Amazon's the best. Although, did you hear that they're going to start charging $1 if you drop things off at UPS instead of one of their lockers?
Right, and I have no problem with that, because what they're saying is we have a system, and and by the way, $1 is not a big deal, but it recognize that, I mean, it is a big deal to some.
I do a lot of returns, Shep.
Right. I had $4,000 worth of returns, and actually, if you get to that point, they're probably going to tell you don't buy from us anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, 4,000 individual returns, but based on $1 return, that's a lot. But here's the thing. I get what Amazon's doing. They're saying we have a system, and we have a way for you to go outside of our system if you want, but it's going to cost you $1 to do it. Not a big deal. But there's plenty of places to drop off your product, and they have a great return policy. Here's the thing about return policies. You need one, and you need to make it clear, and ideally you need to make it competitive, meaning, why should I do business with you?
Yeah.
If one of the factors is you make it real easy for me to buy from you, and if I don't like it, make it easy to return
I need to be able to return it. It's one of the things
Yeah.
I always check out when I look to when I'm buying stuff online. Thank you so much for your time, Shep, today. We're out of time. Thank you so much for being here. Shep Hyken, Hyken.com, Chief Amazement Officer and Customer Service Expert. We love you, Shep. And stick around for more America Trends. We'll be right back right after this break.